Welcome to TechBrothersIT. In this video, we are going to learn how to export data from Synapse Dedicated SQL Pool table to single CSV file in ADLS Gen2. So here is my table, Dedicated SQL Pool TechDB and then I have many tables here. One of the table I would like to export to the CSV file is called the Spark Customers. If you go right here, I just have opened this table and it has a customer ID, first name, last name, and then I'm selecting the data from this table, and you can see that it has 4 records. Now in the notebook, what I'm doing here, I'm using JDBC driver to read the data from the dedicated SQL pool, and then I'm going to write to the ADLS Gen2. Now here is some configuration that you have to provide in the JDBC host name. That is the variable I have declared here. This is my Azure Synapse workspace name, so you can see right here as well. And rest of the part will stay as is. So here you will be just replacing this part with your workspace name. Then JDBC port, we know that is 1433 for this dedicated SQL pool. Then the dedicated SQL pool database is the TechDB. That's for my case, and you can change. Then we have SQL account, and if you go to the our portal.azure.com and then go to the Synapse workspace, what's going to happen, you're going to see the account you are using. So in my case, my account name is the SQL account. That's what I'm using. But in your case, whatever you are using, provide that and then provide the password. You will be using Azure Key Vault, and that's where you will save the password and then call it here. But in my case, I'm just going to go with the plain password text. Now here you will build the JDBC URL, and it's a JDBC SQL server, and then you have a host name, port name, and then you have a JDBC database, and then other properties are there. I will put this in description. You can copy paste. There is nothing really to worry about this one. Once we have this information, this is going to be just build this connection string for us. Here we are also declaring some connection properties, and we are saying user use this user, and the user password this password, and then driver com.microsoft.sql server.jdbc SQL server driver. That's what you need to use. So this will be used in further in different places, and other this URL will be used further down the when we will make the connection to this server. Okay, so let's execute this one. This is good. And now what we are going to do, we are going to go to the second part where we are reading the data from the SQL table spark.customers, and here I'm putting into the data frame. So df_export and then spark.read.jdbc. It is going to read the data from the dedicated SQL pool database table, and this is URL information, so it would know which your database where exactly that table is and what table name. So we have to provide that table name, and then properties. So the permissions for username and password is in this connection properties. Once it's read the data, it will save the data into the df_export data frame, and then we can show that data frame results by using show function. So let me execute this, and it's going to show you the results. So you can see that we have 4 records here: customer ID, first name, last name. Now in the next part of what we are doing here, we would like to write this to the some file. So if you see right there what is happening here, most of the time you will read the data, then you have output path, and then this is the path you would like to write. So in this case, Synapse container, then this is your storage, and then this part will stay as is. Then you have folder, and this is also a folder in which you would like to write your data. So in this case, if you go right here, I'm going to show you more like this one. This is my storage that is attached to my Azure Synapse, and then a container. In the container we have input folder, and in input folder we have the file sitting there. Now when notebooks write the or Spark write the data to the files, it's not going to create the .csv file, single file. It's going to write this data to this folder, and inside that folder there would be files. So those will be CSV files. Depending upon the number of partition, if you have more partition, there would be more files will be created. But when we read the data from the customer test, it will be reading all those files as well. well. So I'm going to show you the example here. So if you see here, if I'm saying output path, and then doing this, this is my path for that folder. You can also get this path from here if you go to linked here and then go to the Synapse container, and let's say you want to write it here, you can always go to properties and then copy from here. Just remove this part and just leave the folder path till there. Okay, so that's cool. And now we are here, and guess what, if I will just here's I'm using coalesce one. So all the partition, let's say if my data frame is processed in 4 different partitions, what's going to happen if I don't use the coalesce, it's going to create 4 CSV files. So that's fine, I can simply do that. I can just leave this, delete this one and execute this one. So it's going to create this customer test folder. Inside those CSV files will be created. So let me execute and then take a look from there. So if you go back here in the, you can go from here as well. So if we go to the input here and let's refresh, and now here is input, and you can see right there, there would be a folder created, and this is called customer test. So you can see right there as well. And once you open it, there would be files created here. You can see right there. As my data is small, though, maybe it is just one partition, but let me go actually right here in the same place, and I will refresh, so you will see more colorful. So you see right there, it has created this file. Now, as I said, that this can create multiple files. That's possible if you are not using coalesce. Let me delete this. I'm just curious, like if it has written to only one partition. So there is a query that we can use to check the partition. So here we can use a df_export.rdd get partitions, and that is going to give us a number of partitions. So as I said, that it depends upon number of partition, how many files will be created in that folder. So now if I execute this one, and now what's going to happen, let me see. I should have printed that out. So this is going to give us a partition. Looks like it has only one partition on my data frame, but again, it can be more, so I just wanted to show you guys. So anyways, so this is one partition, and that's why it is creating only one file inside this folder. So if I will take you back here and show you right there, this is our only one file is created, but sometime you have more partitions, and that's what happened, like you create multiple files. But still, if you see that this is not the file we would like to see, this is and this is inside this folder, then it has this success, there's like a log file, and then it has this part file created. I would like to create something like hey, customer test.csv file, or customer output, something like that. So in that case, what you need to do, now we know that it is going to create the files like this. So what we are going to do, we are going to take care of that part. Now, first of all, in this case, we will be writing the data to the temporary folder, and then we will be creating a customer final.csv. So I complete this path here. So temp output directory. So this is my path for the where I would like to write these files. So this will I'm going to delete this. This is not needed. So it's going to create a folder here, and then the folder will call the temp customer export, and then what's going to happen is going to later on get all the files from here, read them, and then create this customer final CSV file under the input folder. So these paths are, once these paths are done, you can see that I'm saying a df export coalesce one write option header true overwrite CSV to the temp output folder directory. So it's going to create only one CSV, but it will be created like a part. So if I will go ahead and run this one, it's going to create a temp customer folder right there. So let's execute, and you can see right there. Let me show you actually slowly. Temp customer export is created, and then this file is created. But our goal is to create this customer final file here. So I already created. I'm going to delete this. So it's going to under the input folder. So if I will go from here, as the file is sitting here, now I need to read these files, and I'm going to rename them. So I will be doing notebook utils, and then importing this ms spark utils, and then what files equal to this looping through this I will list all these files here from the temp output directory, find the actual CSV file. So remember that this has two files sitting there. There is one success and there is one CSV files. So in this case is only one, but let's say I think it's 4 or 5 or 10 or depending on the partition. So if there are 10, it's going to read all those CSV files for us, and then it's going to write to the final output file. So that is our this path. So it will create a customer final underscore CSV file, and then we are just going to go ahead and clean up the temp output directory. That will be remove this directory, we don't need it anymore. So we will execute this and this will take care of it. So if I go back now and here is my input, you can see that the temp directory is gone, and then I refresh and my customer final CSV file is created. So you can see that this is how the CSV file looks like. There is nothing wrong creating those Spark create that folder and put all those CSV files inside, and those are part files. That's fine, because when you read it, it's going to read all of those files and call this one CSV, you know. So that is absolutely fine. But in case you have come up with this scenario, like you have to create specific CSV file in a separate folder, you can always use this code, and it will help you. I thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.